Never met another human being on this planet who has a dream about little animals, trying to bite them, trying to scratch them, and they wake up and their legs are itchy.
A rhino farm. Josh tried to kill me.
I didn't. I unknowingly. Over and over, we're both just going, woof, woof, right? Oh. Welcome back to the Hardpoint. My name's Josh. I go by One Punch Dad online.
My name's Cody. I go by Codaromes.
You can do it again if you want. And this is episode number 14.
Yay!
We are live and in color.
Yeah, it's a
I can tell you, reach out and touch him.
It's a human Josh. Where it all started.
This is where it all began. The couch. Some of y'all are hating on the couch. Don't appreciate that. The couch doesn't appreciate that. This couch is iconic, and that's the end of that discussion.
And comfy. I slept on it last night.
It'll get you.
I napped on it like an hour ago.
I can't touch this couch in the middle of the day, or I'm going night-night.
Yeah,
straight up.
It's a good couch. If you're hating, just don't.
Get out of here.
Upgraded the tables, upgraded the lighting.
It's a vibe in here, man. Multicam. Whoa, what? So I guess we can talk about right up front. We actually weren't supposed to be here. We'd kind of teased out not an interview, just a guest come on to the show. Yeah. We had on our second episode, we had HLC on. Had a good time with him, a lot of laughs, and we thought, hey, we'll do that again. Maybe to make that a regular occurrence. Yeah. You know what I mean? Peter from a great band that we really both enjoy, Left to Suffer, was going to come on the show. And just kind of hang out with us, answer some questions, vibe with us. We love Left to Suffer.
And get us in the show.
Yeah. They were supposed to play a show in Oklahoma City tonight with Gideon, who's another band that we just adore, on both of our playlists.
Yeah.
Got a Instagram message from Pete this morning that Left to Suffer was involved in a drunk driving accident. A drunk driver hit their van, flipped their trailer with all of their instruments, their drums, their guitars.
The victims.
They were the victims.
To be clear.
Yes, not their fault. And so not only are they in a pinch because they have no way to transport their gear, they are not playing the show in Oklahoma City tonight. And that stinks. At a high level,
yeah.
We, of course, want to say we're very thankful to find out that no one in Left to Suffer was hurt. Van accidents are definitely just a terrifying concept in general to me.
I was going to say, us aside, them all being okay is like, it's the most important part. I don't want to say surprising. Like, usually when you hear something like that, you also expect to hear something worse happen.
And someone is hurt or someone's in the hospital.
Yeah.
It happens a lot, man. There's just as I think back, there's a lot of really great bands, even like Metallica that we enjoy, Dillinger Escape Plan, Every Time I Die has been in a van rollover before. Like a lot of the bands that we've enjoyed, it's like, oh yeah, I wonder if touring for a long time or touring often is just, I hate to say it, but it almost seems like a statistic that like, You're at risk for this, man.
I think so. I think being on the road is dangerous, and most of these bands are driving overnight to get to the next destination.
Absolutely.
And most of these bands are taking turns driving themselves.
Yeah.
So you talk about, setting up all day, playing a show, giving everything you have, and then hopping behind the wheel of a car and driving 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours to your next destination. It's a recipe for potentially bad things to happen.
It's risky. And of course, like in this case, like just the randomness of a drunk driver, you know what I mean? Which is awful. Don't drink and drive. No. Don't be a dummy. I don't know, it's a van and a trailer is not a small vehicle. It's like, I feel like if you've got that in your periphery, you're going to see it. But, that's, I don't know. It's insane to me that this is still a problem, but
I think so if you ever thought about, this is kind of a random thought, but like, so flying is, I've heard statistically safer than driving, right?
Right, yeah.
And I have these thoughts all the time of like professional sports teams that every week are flying, and you never hear about anything happening, right? Because generally air travel is safe. But for these bands or people that are always on the road, like more than the average person, if you're always on the road and it's already kind of a dangerous thing, like over time, something.
I mean, like,
happen.
I hope this never happens, but it could very well be a situation where it's like something happens with the plane and all of a sudden there's no more Tennessee Titans.
Dude,
You know what I mean?
that's crazy, but
Like,
it's not that crazy. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, I'm surprised something, and I think there was like that Marshall team, like it's happened before, I
Yeah.
think, but
Yeah.
I just can't
Terrible
believe
thing.
like you fly that much. That's why when I end up flying, if I have any fear,
Yeah.
I just remember that there are millions of flights per day.
yeah.
Is that too high of a number? There's a lot of
There's
flights
a ton
per
of
day.
flights a day. There's sure are, I don't know about a million, but
A lot of flights per day. You never hear about them going down. So like your odds
Yeah.
of getting in a plane crash are kind of like winning the lottery. So you're gonna get there. Anyways, I don't know how I got off on that.
we're going
tangent.
down a dark road. Hey, glad to hear everyone left to suffer
Yeah.
is okay. Hopefully, if they make it back through this region of the country, we'll slide in and go see them and put our arms around them.
Yeah, or wait
Catch
till
a show.
Dallas. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Wait till they go to Dallas.
We are, glad they're okay.
Yeah.
We are bummed because it was supposed to be twofold, right? We're gonna get to hang out with two of like our favorite bands.
Yeah.
Get backstage.
Yeah.
Which is already super cool. But then there's gonna be content for the show. So I think if there's any bummedness from this side, it's just that like there were two things we were gonna get out of this.
Elated they're okay. Bummed we don't get to chill.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things like it just feels so random. Like you had made the point yesterday, the randomness of had they left the venue 5 minutes earlier, 5 minutes later,
Seriously.
nothing. It would have been fine. We would have been in Oklahoma City right now.
Even on the drunk driver side, had
Yeah.
had anybody in that situation done anything at slightly different times, they wouldn't have met at that exact moment in time and
Exactly.
space. So it is pretty wild. And we found out before everybody pretty much because we heard it straight from the band.
Yeah.
And then a few hours later, it's on Metal Injection,
Right.
Which kind of framed like
The scope.
it
yeah.
almost made it more upsetting because you realize how big what we were going to get to do was.
It does, and it's. I'm sure it's upsetting for them because it's like, oh, great, now we've got press everywhere that like,
Right.
it's not bad necessarily. It's like, but it is a bummer. Like
Right.
everyone knows we got in an accident, which is got to be very traumatic. This is a thing where they're driving at, I think it was like 5 a.m. when this happened, way late. So, best case scenario, they're all sleeping in the back of the van.
Yeah.
One member of the band is driving.
Right.
What a way to wake up, first of all. We're like, if I'm doing the math right in my head, they were not anywhere close to where they were trying to get to go.
Right.
Man, it's just it's got to be an emotional roller coaster for them. So
I feel like a lot of those times are kind of like you're rolling up and you got to unload and do sound like it's not like you're getting there and you got 24 hours to chill. Like
Yeah.
you're there, set up, chill for a little bit, play the show, pack up, on to the next one.
it really is. When we went and saw Carnifex earlier last year and got to hang out with Scott, the homie, and seeing how they will get on stage and they are literal. They're like gods. Like
Yeah.
people just enjoying the music and getting real pumped up and moshing and doing all that stuff and just, wanting to crowd around these guys.
Yeah.
And they get off stage and they're all carrying their own stuff. You got Scott there at like 11 o'clock at night. He's pounding a C4. We're like, dude, it's kind of late for that. He's like, well, I got to drive to Albuquerque tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they literally take their show on the road
Yeah.
by themselves. They don't, it's not like Taylor Swift where they got, 18,
No.
semis.
Or you walk on stage, it's ready, and you walk off and hop on your
Yeah,
private jet
yeah.
to the next place.
Yeah. So
It's very much like the band makes it happen.
Yes,
you have
they build that
helpers
production, yeah.
and roadies, but like you are making everything happen.
Exactly.
And not the first time something's been ruined.
yeah,
I don't want to say ruined.
Well, I'll say this, man. Trying to set something up in Oklahoma City is a headache. I don't know why. We're like 0-2 on good things happening in Oklahoma City. So we're gonna do it in Dallas next time. We'll catch you.
The last thing I wanted to add, I'll edit this. I thought it was a funny story.
Yeah.
This morning, how we found out, I was asleep on this couch that you see us sitting on right here, and it's very dark. And Josh comes in, and the hallway's lit up, and it's just a beam of light. All I see is just a dark figure with light streaming out on all sides. And he says, "Cody, we need to talk."
Yeah, not a great way to break like
And I'm like,
urgent news to someone.
What? And it was, not as bad as it could have been, but it was not great news. But
Yeah.
I just thought that was I was like, what did I do?
My delivery could have been better for sure.
It was so unbelievable, I think.
Yeah.
It was so unbelievable that, that it happened.
Yeah, I'm sure at a certain point you were like, am I still asleep? Is this like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. And then we almost didn't make it through the morning.
It's true. All right, so Cody and I love to work out together when he comes to town.
Josh tried to kill me.
I unknowingly, all right? It would have been manslaughter at best. So we usually love to get a good lift in. We'll wake up. We don't have a lot of time to get to the gym because we got the kids with us, so we're going to take the kids to childcare, get a lift. So there's a time limit on that. Didn't have time to like wake up, brew coffee, none of that. Kind of slept in a little bit, which is great. So I'm like, let's take some pre. And I had some pre-workout that had been gifted to me that it's good stuff. It's
Too good.
a little too good. It's a little high yield, if you know what I mean. And so I didn't really look at the label. I just took 2 shakers, dumped those in there, and said, here you go. 300 milligrams of caffeine per serving. And I remember thinking back, like, I wonder if this is a lot.
Consumed like in a 10-minute time.
Pounded
span.
it. Pounded it.
Like
Anyway,
a bang is one thing, but I usually drink that over 2 to 3 hours.
yes, I'll sip that.
We might as well have shotgunned a bang.
Yeah. Typical pre, you want to kind of get it in there. Like people do the dry scoop even,
Yeah.
which is like both barrels to the dome. I never do that. I feel like that's just waiting for asking for a heart attack. But yeah, we did 300 millis of caffeine very fast. We're about 20 minutes into our workout. We're kind of like,
Oh my God. My heart's skipping beats.
Yeah.
I can feel this weird pressure in my chest.
I can smell with my eyeballs. Like, it was intense. And then we get in the car to leave, and we're both kind of like just like rubbing our chests. Like,
I think if you get a scene from the front of the car looking in, we're both
Yeah.
trying to act cool.
Yeah.
We got kids in the car, trying to keep our composure, but kind of like,
yeah, we're both.
I'm not okay.
Over and over, we're both just going woof, woof, right? Huh? In my mind, I'm thinking this could be it. Like this is how I go. Like,
dude, I was feeling nauseous, like sweaty,
Yeah.
like, man.
Hey, but I made it right though, because we got home.
Yep.
And my wife had this like single piece of delicious ciabatta bread, like Italian bread that was already like scored, so it just came right in half. Toasted that, put a little butter on it, got a little something in the tum-tum. Felt way better.
That's where we went wrong, was nothing on the tummy.
Yeah.
And then, dude, that bread, I'm telling you, it's like in a video game, like when you take a health item and you're like your health. I was on E on the front patio talking to my wife, and I was like cracked out, but also about to die.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that. I remember it was not the night before your wedding, but the night before the day before your wedding.
Yeah.
I came to town. I was the best man at Cody's wedding, by the way. So we hang out. Got him a little what do you call it? Gift from the best man.
Yeah.
And had dinner. We ate delicious Buffalo Wild Wings. We started ordering beers, and I was thinking, you don't think about beers being like hitting you very fast, but we had a couple pretty stout beers.
Like the tall ones too, the B-dubs one.
The big boys, yeah.
The tall boys.
And then we went home and had not that much whiskey, but I got good and drunk. I was hammered out of nowhere, just completely blitzed. And I woke up the next morning and I thought I was dying. I mean, just nauseous, could not keep my eyes open. The lights hurt, my head hurt. And Cody brought me, I'd never had Jersey Mike's before.
Oh, yeah.
But you brought me a sub. No veggies, no mayonnaise, no nothing on it, just meat and bread.
Nothing weird.
And I felt the feeling of the health bar being filled back up with that sandwich. It is a weird feeling.
Life-saving.
It
was
is.
like, I needed it, man. I should have had that beforehand, but had a great workout. I don't really take energy.
Even if it's really strong pre, I'm not taking a ton of it.
I was going to say, I'll drink energy drinks, but the last time I took just proper pre-workout, which I feel like is a little more hardcore than even like a energy drink.
Right.
It's been a while. And then at that to take what was probably 3 servings.
It is. I tell you, man, with caffeine, I do caffeine's a regular part of my diet. Like if I fall dead and they cut me open, they're gonna be like, whoa, a lot of caffeine in here.
Yeah.
But I have to space it out. I cannot front load all the caffeine for my day in one whatever 8-ounce drink.
Throughout.
Yes. Like you've gotta it's like if you throw gasoline on a fire, it's gonna go whoosh. But if you take a little bit in a spoon and kind of shovel it on there, you get a little.
Because the harder you get cracked out, the harder you're going to crash.
Yeah.
So it's like if you do it all up front, then inevitably you're going to kind of crash at some point. So I do little nuggets of caffeine.
I need a nice sustained release for sure.
And then we were talking about we used up all our caffeine for the day.
Yeah. Yeah, we were thinking about teeing up some some like a half a cup of coffee, and I don't know, I got ready to record. I was like, I don't know, probably a bad idea. Be over here cracked out again.
Yeah. I'll stay up all night.
Yeah.
I got a story I'd like to share, which kind of already.
I know where this is going.
Kind of already shared. I was gonna save it for the show. To be fair, we already talked about it. I thought we were gonna have a guest. This story wasn't necessarily it didn't make much sense with what we were supposed to do. If I would have known we were just gonna do this, I would have saved it.
Roll it out.
There we go. So we've talked about the town, my favorite town of Bellevue, Texas, on this show. I think we had somebody comment even something. I don't remember what they said.
Yeah.
And it's between where I live in DFW and here, Lawton. Not halfway. It's not like even a super convenient point. It's a little too early in the trip to be stopping on a 2.5-hour trip.
Yeah.
But I'm stopping either way. It's this tiny little town. If you blink, you'll miss it. Population like 250.
Yep.
And I stop every time I go through there. And so I stopped at this little convenient mart, like I always do. Go pee, get a snack. Mm-hmm. And I've told you it's like something out of a movie, like an old Texas, I
have no recollection of sound. I drive the exact same way back that he goes to come here. I want to make it clear. This town does not register for me. I walk right or drive right past it.
I pull up to the little, it's more like a convenience store. It's not really a mart. And the sun's setting, it's really scenic, I'm walking up to the front door. There's this old lady coming out with her crawler and her bag of goods. And I open the door for her. And she's like, well, thank you, sugar. And it goes on past. I walk into the store. Well, howdy, partner, from the guy behind the counter. Yeah. And there's this guy over here. And you got cowboy hats on the wall. And I'm like, this place is just magical. Magical.
Out of time.
And so I get all my stuff, go to the front. And it's the same guy who's always there every time I recognize him.
Yeah.
So I decide, let me strike up a conversation this time. And I just asked him if he's from there. And he said, no, I'm from another small town, but my dad's owned this store since 97, which was already pretty, it's a little store. That's a long time for a business to survive through everything that's happened.
Yeah.
And so I asked him or tell him, I'm just really fascinated with this town. And he said, well, here's something for you. And he said, up yonder, there's a rhino farm. And he
doesn't make any sense, man.
A rhino farm. And he said, and the talk of the town is, and I almost fell over right there.
What?
The talk of the town. I couldn't comprehend the first two sentences out of his rhino farm, talk of the town. I'm intrigued at this point. And he said there was a sheriff or one of the police officers, I guess, drove on the land. He wanted to go see the rhinos, apparently, which he wasn't supposed to be on there. Now, to be clear, apparently this rhino farm is legal. Everybody knows it's there. It's not some secret operation or anything. He gets out of his car. He's standing 10 feet face to face with a rhino. And then another rhino comes up and smashes the side of his squad car.
Huh.
And so this guy is so there's a police cruiser cruising around our town with a giant rhino dent in the side of it. And I'm just floored at I'm like, and then to go a little bit further, he said the police force is wanting the rhino farm to pay for the damages. The rhino farm is saying you weren't supposed to be on there anyway. So there's
a whole saga.
It's a whole scuttlebutt in this little tiny town. That's more interesting than anything I've had going on.
It's so funny because you have over and over again mentioned your interest in this town. And the fact that you literally took a garden spade and just lifted the tiniest amount of dirt and found a rhino farm and a dispute with the rhino farm and the sheriff's department is so crazy.
I did the most basic form of inquiry are you from here?
Yeah.
And I left with this giant golden nugget of information. And so I drove through the town. There's one main road that passes through. I wanted to take a cruise through there and just see what was going on. Couple observations. No paved roads.
No paved roads.
This is a dirt road little town.
No lights, you said.
No stoplights. No lights.
Yeah.
Like in general, it's getting dark.
Yeah.
And so I'm driving through, and I found the school doesn't have a parking lot. Their parking lot is the ditch that goes off the side of the road. And there was about 100 F-250s, just just like trucks that are parked there. Nobody, no people. Must have been something going on with the school, but it was a really there's obviously people here.
Yeah.
I don't see any of them. Like a really weird kind of eerie feeling to it.
I wonder if half the town knew you were there. Even they were probably oh, there's a guy dropping through asking about the rhino farm
People
again.
peering through their blinds.
Yeah. Did you hear?
I was like, man, this would be the worst place ever for a car to break down or something. So I got it.
Or
out
maybe
of there,
the best
but
place. I don't know.
I told Josh I want to be like those podcasts that go uncover these little towns and just do a week of journalism and talk to random people. I would love to do that in this town.
We gotta go at this point. We gotta line out some time to go down to Bellevue, Texas, and talk to at least 5 people.
If that was any indication of what's going on there, there's quite the story to be lifted.
Yeah, there's got to be way more to that town than Rhino Farms, which is crazy. As soon as you said Rhino Farm, I was like, huh?
I told him, hold on, I need to catch up here.
Yeah, take this in one thing at a time. So something kind of cool that happened to me recently. I am 4 weeks and 2 days sober.
Nice.
As of today. Not to bring the vibe down or anything, I guess. I kind of wanted to share a little bit about that.
I'd love to hear it.
It has been. So I guess I'll kind of preface it with this. This is not the first time I've tried to get sober. A couple years ago, around it was still kind of peak COVID years, I identified the problem, which for me absolutely was a problem of I had to have it if it was in my house, and I wanted it in my house probably a lot more than a normal person would.
Sure.
And I kind of talked about the comparison of you have a bottle of whiskey in your house. It's a really nice bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
It's still sealed, I think, even. And maybe, maybe that is what keeps you from digging into it. But having a bottle of whiskey in my house that I'm not drinking on was a fantasy. That is something that I could never have managed because it was like Oreos. If I had them in the house, I was going to smash them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's how I was with alcohol. And it kind of was a cycle of I would dial it back and I'd say, all right, I'm only going to drink Friday and Saturday night. I don't have work on Sunday, so I'll drink Friday, Saturday night. It'll be good. Well, then you get alcohol and then you don't drink it all Saturday, so you got some leftover Sunday. So you're like, well, I'll have a little nightcap on Sunday. And then all of a sudden you have a rough Tuesday and you're drinking Tuesday. And anyway, I quit for several months, and then stuff in my life got kind of crazy for a little bit there, and I fell off, and I was back to drinking pretty much the way I had always drank. And that was almost 3 years ago now. I've kind of been in that cycle since then, you know what I mean? Just kind of drinking, not I would say to my wife, I am a slow drip alcoholic, not putting it in my coffee in the morning just to get to work, not bar fighting, you know what I mean? Not a Hollywood alcoholic, but having it on a regular enough basis to where it was a part of my diet for sure.
Sounds like there was a little bit of a creep thing in there. You would get it in a check, and then before you know it, it was constantly kind of
yes, it was creeping. Yeah, absolutely, man. That's what it would do. And I didn't feel like I was ever going to shake it. You know what I mean? And I could feel it killing me. It got to the point, I'm 35 now. If I eat a bad plate of Chinese food, I get a hangover, man. Everything
That's real.
Everything that's not like good for me is gonna hurt later. And alcohol was probably king of that, man. It was this feeling of I feel tired all the time. I have a headache all the time. I feel thirsty all the time. I could not like get out. I felt like I plateaued in my workouts and stuff. I'd go through seasons where I just like had no juice in the gym, no juice for my my professional career and anything like that. I had nothing to offer my kids beyond like a fraction of my attention. My wife, same thing, fighting all the time. I'm cranky as shit all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, a couple weeks ago, I woke up feeling probably worse than I felt, on most of those mornings. It was just varying degrees of really feeling like shit. But I had one morning where I was like, you know what? Enough's enough. So I got rid of what I had, and it's been a couple weeks, and I want to say I feel good.
Yeah,
feel really good.
You look good. I told you yesterday. You look trimmed up.
Thank you. That is an encouragement. The biggest thing, man, that keeps me wanting to keep going is the clarity. Is really just for me. Like, again, I do believe people who drink can have clarity. I don't want to make it sound like I am just like walking around seeing and thinking better than anyone who does drink. I drank to the degree where it was inhibiting that really badly for me.
Yeah.
Drinking a lot, drinking weekdays, drinking weeknights. And so, yeah, for me, it's a huge improvement.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just wanted to share that, and
that's good. We're all happy for you. I appreciate the insight. I think we see and handle alcohol quite differently.
Sure.
So it's interesting to see. You kind of realize, like, I think we all walk around seeing everything the way that we see it. And so when somebody else handles something differently or sees it differently, sometimes it's hard to understand them.
Absolutely, man.
Or see it through their eyes or whatever.
It really
so
is.
For it's not. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I appreciate the insight because it kind of makes me understand a little bit more, kind of what you were going through and why you chose to basically step away from it.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
And you're a very disciplined person, man. And for being, 6 years younger than me, I really do feel inspired by your level of discipline that you exhibit through like everything from just like what you put in your body to how you train, So definitely you're a piece of that inspiration for me to just be better.
Yeah.
I wish I could just drink better. You know what I mean? Like that ideally I would just have more discipline in my drinking, but what I've seen historically for me is that it's kind of all in or not.
It's the creep, right?
It's the creep.
You could get it back into check, but before you know it, it'll be back to where you were trying to get away from. So that is one thing I'm a very, like I've told you, intentional drinker.
Yes.
I won't do it by myself, even if it's like me and my wife at home. She's pregnant, so she can't drink anyway. That kind of helps. But even before that, like if we were just sitting at home watching a show on a Friday night or Saturday night, the best way I put it is like, I'm not going to drink just because it's the weekend.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's more like a social thing. Like we had a dinner the other night, a birthday party. Everybody was drinking, so had some drinks.
Sure.
Or if I would come over here or whatever, it's a very like this occasion has alcohol in it, And then other than that, I'm pretty cool with it. So, no, I'm happy for you though.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
And you rolled in last night. We had a really good time. We loaded up MLB The Show, which low key, the sneaky fun. We had a really good time playing baseball on Xbox.
We're playing it again tonight. Besides what happened with tonight,
we did a full blown tourney, you guys. Like we did not just play one game and like, oh, that was fun, put it down. We played one game and we were like, we got to run it back. And we played until like 1 a.m. Played that and Madden, and we were like, wow, this is sneaky fun.
The silver lining for tonight is we get to play more MLB.
We get to play more baseball. Amped for that. Didn't drink a drop, man. Yeah. And I think when you showed up, I was like, man, feel free to.
Yeah.
Because I actually do feel very comfortable being around. Not that I'm comforted by it, but I won't go to a bar, like a straight up a place that is there to drink at.
Right.
but I feel okay when alcohol is being had around me.
Yeah.
I know there's probably people out there like, oh, you shouldn't do that. I don't believe you gain strength by avoiding the things that challenge you.
Sure.
And also, you are free to drink. You're a grown man.
Sure.
But we didn't.
Yeah.
And we had probably one of the funnest nights we've had in a long time.
Yeah, I agree.
Amped to hang out tonight after the show and after we eat and stuff. Like,
Felt fine this morning. That's the biggest thing, dude. Not drinking the night of can sometimes maybe dial back the fun by that much.
Yeah.
But what you gain the next morning by not feeling like complete shit
Exactly.
outweighs that paper thin amount of fun that it might have like increased it by.
it really does. And like I said, the cost to benefit for me got worse and worse and worse
Yeah.
almost every time I drank, man. It's, the first, like, I guess a little peek behind the curtain. The first day we recorded for the Hardpoint, we shot 2 episodes. We shot episode 1 and episode 2 with Habitual Line Crosser.
Mm-hmm.
We started drinking at like 1 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And by the end of that day, I felt like I'd run a marathon.
Yeah.
I really felt like trash. And all we had done, we did go to the gym, but between that and then just trying to run a podcast, I was exhausted. And I realized, oh, you drank all day, dude. You feel like shit now.
The fuel you're putting in your body is poison.
Exactly. Exactly, man. So anyway, it's a good feeling, and having people in my life who aren't going to make me feel some type of way about
Yeah.
not drinking around them, or even better yet, can come around me and don't need the alcohol to be a part of
Yeah.
it. I will be honest with you, man, and this is why I made the decision to go sober. If it were flipped and you made that decision and you told me, yeah, you can get some beer, I'd go get some beer.
Yeah.
I literally, like, I did not have a problem being the only one drinking
Yeah.
everywhere I went.
Yeah.
Straight up. Any situation, people at the house, whatever, like, if I was given the choice, I would drink.
Yeah.
But yeah, it means a lot that you'll come around and don't need it, and we
Yeah.
can still have a kick-ass time.
Yeah.
So.
Don't need it. All good, The Hardpoint family supports you.
Hey, I feel it. Cool.
Okay.
I think you got some questions lined up.
So I was going to bring these to the table tonight with our to-be guest, or was to-be guest, just in case the conversation never flatlined. I saw it in another show. I was kind of inspired, right?
Sure.
They talked, had 30 minutes of natural conversation, and then she was like, hey, I have some random questions. So
Hey.
I had our good friend AI drum up 10. I told it, got a podcast, we got a guest. In case the conversation hits a wall, give me 10 random questions that could spark some interesting conversation.
And you haven't read them.
I haven't. I've like glanced. Is that going to cover up the cool part?
No, I think you'll be all right.
Okay. So I don't know. We're going to start at the top. And we can skip these if they suck. Time travel.
Time travel.
If you could travel back in time to witness any historical event firsthand, what would it be and why?
Man, I would, you know what? As close as you can get without getting like radiated to a nuke going off. Not like Hiroshima, Nagasaki, actual people dying.
Sure.
But like the first like nuclear bomb test, the Trinity test.
And see that?
Yeah, like to be with the goggles in the little concrete
And the
bunker.
sunscreen.
Yeah,
on the guy's face.
lathered up. And GL, that would be.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, that would be. I feel like the movie like is whatever. It's fine. It's a good movie. It's gonna win a lot of awards. Hammed it up a little bit
Yeah.
and made it kind of a cinematic thing. I think seeing that as it really occurred and just the real silence, like a movie cannot replicate that. I think that would be
That'd be pretty cool. That's
an
a
interesting thing to be on deck for.
That's an interesting answer. I have 2, and one's more just like fanboyish, and one's like something I'd actually want to see.
All right.
So one would be talk about Metallica all the time
Oh,
on
man.
here, but the show that they played in Moscow, Russia, where there's like a million people in the crowd, I'd probably want to be able to like zap and be there and then zap out of there. You know,
Yeah.
not have to deal with like the logistics of
Yeah.
actually getting there and leaving. But being like somewhere in the vicinity of the stage for that and being able to like look back across
See that.
helicopters flying over, like,
Yeah.
and just
Soviet police just like scouring the crowd,
dude,
beating
the
on people.
energy
oh my God.
they played with, like, I feel like that would be something to behold.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so.
The next one, it's not really a specific event, but going back in time to like, there's two things we always talk about, like Red Dead 2 time, like
Cowboy times.
yeah, dude. Like if I
Yeah.
could spend, and I don't want to live there for a long time, but if I could have 24 hours with the option of terminating that sooner if need be,
Yeah.
I would want to go check that out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I feel like that'd be pretty cool.
just take a stroll down Main Street with your
Dude.
your 6 guns.
I feel like that'd be pretty cool. Good
Yeah.
answers.
Absolutely.
All right, superpowers.
Oh,
If
boy.
you could have any superpower for a day, what would it be, and what's the first thing you'd do with it?
Oh, my God.
For only a day, man. I thought I was gonna get like perma powers.
Perma powers?
Yeah.
For only a day? I don't know, man. I think it's kind of a dumb answer because it's like this character's super duper god mode. Have you ever watched Watchmen?
Yeah. Yeah. The movie.
The movie, yeah. Dr. Manhattan, the blue guy.
I don't remember that specifically.
Okay. He's pretty much like, he's god mode, right? Like he literally like points at people and just like makes them explode. He can like point at a tank and make it like disassemble and
Okay.
then like crush into a ball. He can grow to be like massive. He can breathe on Mars. Like he's just can do whatever he wants essentially. And he's all, of course, like he's all like moody and jaded about it or whatever. Like not me, man. I would. Whatever. I would do that. I would teleport to every like known like piece of shit dictator and I would be all giant and I would just like pick them up out of their little compound and be like, you're gone.
Squeeze heads.
You're gone. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then I don't know. I would probably find some other problems to maybe solve for people, and then that would, because you'd be God mode, right? You could just like whatever, like our dam cracked and drowned the
Anything
town.
you could imagine.
Reverse time, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So yeah, I would Dr. Manhattan the shit out of one day for sure.
That's pretty good. That's kind of like all superpowers.
Yeah.
I'll take
It's
them
kind of
all.
a dumb answer, but like if I only got one day,
Yeah.
I don't know. You give me a lifetime, maybe I just Spider-Man. I don't know,
Yeah.
but.
I think Spider-Man eventually grows out of his abilities. Like 80-year-old Spider-Man is not doing like the flips and the web slam.
Yeah, but like maybe he gets like wrist prostate issues and it just kind of like trickles out.
Shooting out
instead-
like dust.
yeah, poof, puff, puff.
I think I would do something with time. Like,
Yeah?
if I could go back and make a bunch of money on something that I knew was going to happen,
Yeah.
and then jump back to this point with all that money, something like that. Like the thing I always think about, this is so stupid. I just remembered there was $1 billion attached to it.
Yeah.
The college basketball bracket,
Yeah.
like March Madness.
Yeah.
Warren Buffett, like 10 years ago, said that if anybody gets the bracket right, like if you fill it out and
Yeah.
that's how it unfolds, he'd give you $1 billion.
Wow.
Yeah, and nobody got it right.
Oh, of course
Nobody
not.
ever, like, nobody's bracket ever
Is that like
right.
a standing thing, or you just did that one year?
It was
and
like
he
1 year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't think you wanted to
I was
risk
like,
it.
man,
I-
yeah, play the odds, you know.
And so I wouldn't want to go back to that time and then have to, like, I'm happy with how everything's ended up to this point. You know, I
Sure.
don't want like the butterfly effect to change everything.
You're right.
But go back, take advantage of that, come back with my Billy, and just keep on going.
Just come back to the current timeline with the money.
Yes.
That you earned from your alternate timeline.
Yes. And part of my power is like everything else, same. The only thing that's changed, and nobody asks any questions. Banks don't care. Like, just, you know, everything works out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
That's a pretty good one.
That was an incredibly selfish answer. You said you were going to go, like, get rid of bad people, and
I probably would be like $1 billion. Like I killed all the dictators and fix your dam. Give
we'll
me some
split
money.
it.
Yeah.
We'll split it.
There you go.
$500,000 each.
Yeah. Call it even.
Let's see. Animal spirit. If you could be any animal for a day, which one would you choose and why?
An animal? I don't. I really, honestly, like, I want to be the dog of someone who loves their dog too much. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
okay.
you know about like, it's fine to love your dog. It's fine to treat your dog as a member of family. Some people take family photos with their dogs. Everyone knows that one person who loves their dog a little too much. I want to be that dog. I don't want to be friends with that person, but I want to be that dog. Absolutely. I'm totally okay with dogs. Not a dog owner anymore, but
You live a pretty sweet life. You sleep when you want, wake up when you want, zero responsibilities.
yeah,
None.
We had growing up. We had this little Yorkie dog. You might remember one of them, but we had a Yorkie that we had for several years. My parents gave her to some friends of theirs. I don't know if they liked her or whatever. They were trying to. I don't know why they gave it to this person, but they just rehomed her with a new family.
Right.
The family fed her a donut every morning. I don't even know if dogs are supposed to eat donuts. I'm not a veterinarian, but I want to be that dog. I want to be that dog. You're telling me I got nothing to do today.
Yeah.
And I get to start the day with a donut, which comparatively, a Yorkie gets to be this big.
True.
So imagine if someone serves you a large pizza-sized
Like that
donut.
big every day. It's a heck of a way to start your day.
I mean, come on, man. Let me tell you.
That's good.
What about you?
My favorite animal is a bear.
Yeah?
And so I feel like being a bear would be pretty sweet.
Like what kind of bear?
Like a big old grizzly bear.
big old...
Nobody's fucking with you. You just you can climb trees.
Bears are high-key intimidating, man. Like,
Dude, have you seen those videos of somebody will be up in a tree stand hunting?
yes. And a bear just...
Dude, very versatile animal.
Those videos give me anxiety, man.
Have you seen the one? It's a guy hunting, and there's a mountain lion. He's backing up slowly.
Yes.
And he's just kind of tracking him.
He's got his pistol
Yes.
out. I've seen that one. That one gives me anxiety. Okay, this brings up a good question.
Good.
It's not on your list, obviously.
That's what it's supposed to do.
Okay, good.
Spark convo.
I have this weird thing that happens when I dream. I have I have dreams where I am attacked by an animal. Wow. Sometimes the animal is a small animal, like a mean dog, a small mean dog. Sometimes the animal is a mountain lion. Sometimes it's a wolf. I have those dreams periodically.
Okay.
When they happen, I wake up and my legs are itchy. It's only when I have the dream about animals, I wake up every time and my legs are incredibly itchy.
What?
Incredibly itchy. It goes away after about a minute or two. I go back to sleep. But I've never met another human being on this planet who has a dream about little animals, big animals, whatever, trying to bite them, trying to scratch them, and they wake up and their legs are itchy.
What? How long does this go back? Since you can remember?
Adulthood. No.
Okay.
Not when I was a kid. No. This was probably maybe when I turned 28 or 29. That was when I identified the pattern.
Okay.
It may have happened before
Sure.
then, but that was when I was like, that's probably odd, right?
It's
And imagine how foolish I feel. You're being nice about it. Thank you. When you tell the average person that, yeah, I have dreams about being attacked by animals and I wake up and my legs are itchy. That ever happened to you? And they're like,
Trying to identify somebody to relate with and then repeatedly failing and then having to slump shoulders.
Soul
and
crushing. Yeah. Anyway.
How often are we talking? Once a month? A couple times a year?
Yeah.
Pretty regularly.
Regularly. Yeah. Probably 3, 4, 5 times a year at least. You know what I mean?
Consulted a doctor on this.
What doctor? What doctor?
A professional psychiatrist.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know if it's deep sea. I've been pinched by a hermit crab in an earthbound before. That's about as close as I've been to being attacked, physically attacked by a dog. I will say when I was in Iraq's got a wild dog problem. I was walking to my little site one night. I was, strapped or whatever, and I got surrounded by a gang of those wild dogs.
Whoa.
They're incredibly vicious, man. And I think they knew what
You were strapped.
this means.
Yeah.
Because we walk around, it's amber, right?
Right.
Magazine in the weapon.
Sure.
Not chambered.
Sure.
I chambered around.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, well, if I'm going out, I'm taking a few of y'all with me. They scattered because I racked it real loud.
They have to associate that with what it is.
They must have.
Yeah.
I was legitimately putting my weapon on fire or semi or
Dude.
whatever. I was going to shoot some dogs that were trying to, they were literally these stands are whatever, a meter away from us or
Right.
whatever. They were right there. They were
They're that close.
baring their teeth.
Oh, my
Baring their
God.
teeth. They were around me. They were
Were you by yourself?
I was by myself. It was dark. It was
Dude.
night.
I've never heard that story.
I just thought about it now.
Crazy.
And my legs got itchy.
I wonder if it traced trace back to that or something.
No idea.
That, and then like you stepped in some poison ivy, got itchy on the legs, and then now it like triggers. That's weird. I would like to know the actual scientific bodily reason why.
I just want to. All I want to do is meet one other person. 8, 9, 10 billion people on this planet. Meet one other person. Whatever.
That's like yes.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Would it make you feel better to know other people experience it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then y'all can all like hang out or something.
Absolutely.
Well, put the call out if you or anybody you know.
If you dream about getting bit by a small animal and then your legs are itchy when you wake up, dial the number. But no, I'm kidding. Yeah,
that's a crazy story.
It's real. I'll text you the next time it happens.
Yeah, keep me up to date, man. Do they have the giant spiders too?
Who? Oh, the camel spiders in Iraq.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you ever see one?
I saw several. Yeah. They're so people think they're aggressive. They will try to get in your shadow to cool off. They try to try to stay in the shadow, right, to be cool. So they'll kind of chase you.
Right.
I never had one chase me, but
okay. So that's why I could give the illusion they're chasing you, and it's more chasing the shadow.
Now I will say they're huge, and you can almost hear them walking. They're so big, but they move the sand as they walk.
Okay.
I mean, they're big enough.
How big are we talking?
I mean, big ones get.
Okay.
Okay,
so we're not.
No.
Okay.
I've never saw one that big.
I thought there were spiders like, maybe not.
No. No.
That makes me feel better.
Probably like a tarantula plus, I'd say.
Living on the same planet where spiders exist.
They look way scarier, though. Like a tarantula looks like a spider. A camel spider looks like a mutant spider. So.
Are you afraid of spiders?
Not
Do they bother you?
I don't go like I know people who are like pick them up.
Yeah.
I don't pick them up, but if one gets on me, I'm like,
What about snakes?
Same.
Don't care?
Don't care. I would, like if I had to kill one or handle one, I would.
If you were going to handle one, would you go from the end or from the head? There was Steve Irwin. Who's the other guy? They had opposite approaches.
I don't know, like Jack Hanna or whatever. Like
somebody.
One of those guys. Yeah.
One would hold him up by the tail.
Yeah.
And the other would go straight for the face. And
I feel like
for
if
the throat.
I would say I want to control that head. I'm trying to control the head, the neck. But ideally, I'm not touching it. If I'm gonna kill like my brother-in-law, my sister's husband. Yeah. He works leather, and he's recently wanted to start working in more like actual real snake skins into his work. So we went looking for a snake in my where my parents live. A lot of snakes there. He ended up finding one, but I had a rake.
Okay.
Like one of the metal ones that's kind of flat on the top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a dirt rake or whatever. I don't know. I don't know my rakes. Let me tell I felt under-equipped. I knew what to do with it. I knew what I was going to do if I found a snake, but I'd be lying if I said like I felt like I had everything I needed to be successful in that fight.
If I had anything less than an RPG, I would feel under-equipped.
You don't like snakes?
No, I don't. They give me the heebie-jeebies. I don't like spiders either, but I can deal with a spider more. Like, if you find a spider in your house, it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
I'll just crush it and move on.
Right.
If I found a snake, dude, I'm selling the house. Like, I'm gone. I'm out. No way.
It's cursed. All right, let me hit one of these.
Hit it.
Guilty pleasure. What's a guilty pleasure of yours that people would be surprised to know about?
Surprised to know about? Maybe, okay. Right now, we've been talking about these old songs that I like.
Yeah.
And the song Wicked Game
by Chris Isaac.
It speaks to me,
What got
man.
you? Okay, because you came in yesterday talking about this song. What got you on this song? Like, did you hear it in a commercial or something?
I didn't just get into it yesterday. Probably within the last year, somewhere along the lines. Not that I've been listening to it constantly for the last year.
Right.
But one of the radio stations I listen to, they do like birthdays at the end of a segment.
Yeah.
And they said Chris Isaac, he came up. I didn't know who he was, but then one of the guys who's more like a character on the show just did the and it clicked. I'm like, I've definitely heard that before.
Yeah.
And I went and listened to it, and the live versions are awesome. And that song is just like headphones.
It's like hauntingly good.
It's very haunting, and just hearing like the guitar and his voice, everything about that song is incredible. The other thing, back to Metallica, when they were recording the Black Album,
Yeah.
there's some documentary of them it's when they're recording the Black Album.
Right.
And whoever was who produced that out?
That was Bob Rock,
right?
Yeah.
He talks about a part where when they're recording or writing The Unforgiven, James Hetfield came to Bob Rock and said he brought that song to him. Was
Really?
like, I want to sound like this. You know, not exactly, but like I want to draw inspiration. Like I want to sound kind of like this.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. And so that kind of solidified that song a little bit for me too. Yeah.
How crazy. I have a story about Chris Isaak. It's not a flattering story.
I'd love to hear it.
Not for me. I wasn't there, but I love that song. It is a heater for sure. So at some award show, it might have been. I think it was like the MTV Movie Awards or something like that. Not like the Oscars or anything. Cameron Diaz and Chris Isaak are on stage
Okay.
presenting an award.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was for, best comedic performance or
Sure.
anything. That will come in, that would be important later. Chris Isaak is up there talking. I can't remember what joke. He makes some joke or whatever and tries to legitimately make out with Cameron Diaz.
Whoa.
Yes. And she is playing it very cool,
Right.
being kept her cool, but
Sure.
she's very clearly like, I don't want you in my face.
Yeah.
I don't want whatever you're trying to do. Didn't like that. Jim Carrey wins the award, and you can see as soon as the camera pans to him, he did not like what just happened.
Okay.
So I don't know if you ever watched The Mask growing up, but he and Cameron Diaz were in that movie together as love interests. So he has been in a movie with this.
Probably friends at that point.
Probably,
or-
yes, probably friends, he didn't like what Chris Isaak did to her.
Okay.
He comes up on stage and does the same thing to Chris Isaak, which is hilarious. He tries very hard to make out with Chris Isaak, who is,
That
of
is
course, like,
Awesome.
and I thought, like, how better than, like, the slap or the ass kicking that he deserves? He's just
Yeah.
like, you get a little piece of what you just
That's awesome.
tried to give
dude.
to her. So
if you have Jim Carrey coming to your defense, that's pretty cool for one.
yeah.
And
yeah.
I feel like is like one of the few people that could pull that off, and everybody, like it just, that's awesome.
I've always enjoyed Jim Carrey, but after that day, I was like,
he's a homie. He's
yeah.
a real one.
Yeah, he's a real one for that, for
That's
sure.
a great story.
And fuck Chris Isaak for that
yeah,
one.
seriously, man.
Anyway, but Wicked Game's still really good. Okay, what was it? Guilty pleasure, right? I really love cleaning my ears with Q-tips. Cody,
we might can relate on this. I don't know if
I thought you were going to say we might edit this part out. This is weird.
I don't know that I love it, but it is after the shower the first thing I do. After
I will give an
drying off.
audible. When you really some kind of G spot or something up in there, man. But you're like, when you just give it the old roll, and you're
Do you go up in here?
oh yeah, you got to get the
Okay.
ridge. You get some buildup in there. I don't know what it is. Get that shit out of there.
You got to go all of it and kind of do that swirl.
Yeah, you're getting all the crevasses there. But man, when you go into the ear actual, you don't want to go too deep. They say
it's actually bad, right?
They
Or
say it's
can be.
bad. I'm doing it for
I
the
don't
rest
give
of
a
my
shit.
life, dude.
Yeah.
If I go deaf because I'm doing this,
Just pushing earwax.
Been
I
a-
try to. So I do a combination of staying on the outer perimeter
Right.
while twisting it.
yeah. So you have like a revolution, right?
Yeah.
there you
Hoping
go.
I'm not pushing it in my ear, but I'm swafting it out
Yeah,
of there. That's
yeah,
not a word.
I feel like you gotta know if you're like packing stuff in there. Like if you meet some resistance and it's
Yeah.
squishy and you just push it in your ear, yeah, you're dummy for that. Sometimes I'll wet the tip and then
Okay. Ooh, if it's cold though.
well, warm water. you know?
Okay. If you can wait for it to get
Don't
warm.
be frigid or anything. If my inner ear gets cold, I think I'll be okay. But yeah, man. Ooh,
Okay.
That is.
I do enjoy my shower routine, cleaning routine does not feel complete. Like if everything's dry, but
Yeah.
you got wet interior ear.
Grab yourself a Q-tip.
Yep.
You get one in per ear. You don't want to put. I don't want right ear wax in my left ear.
No,
That's-
no, no. Yeah.
You do one side.
Yeah.
Get the ridges. Sometimes I'll go 2 Q-tips. I'll get the ridges with one side, get the hole with another.
So I start ridge and then go interior.
You work your way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
No.
most of what's going to be on that is coming from the inside. So I feel like if I go inside first, then out,
I'm trying to
just
have
kinda
that eargasm. You know what I'm saying, man? I'm in there. Just,
The quality of Q-tip is another conversation.
really? Okay. It can't. Okay. The cotton cannot be too compacted.
Yes, because it's hard.
Yeah. You need something that's fluffy and light, like a
Yes.
cotton ball.
Yes.
Just spun around the little.
If it's too tight, then it
cube.
feels like you're just sticking the plastic in your ear.
Yeah. No, I don't want to feel like plastic. There's a nice medium of soft.
Yes.
You know, just gives you a nice little stroke against the inner ear. Yes, sir.
You're right. I didn't know that about you.
Did your my mom did this to me growing up, and it's another thing that I probably thought was normal, and it's definitely not normal. So they make these candles
Okay.
that you can stick in your ear. You light them at the top, and it draws deep wax
Okay.
out of your ear into the hunk
Yeah.
of the candle. It's like hollow.
Yeah.
I did that as a kid, and I've always wanted to do it as an adult.
I feel like that would be so like what's the word? Like
Satisfying.
like relieving.
Yeah.
I can't think of the word, but just like you might not know that it's an issue, but then once it's out
Yes.
and it's reset, then you're like, wow, like
Yeah.
that feels really good.
I'm
I'm interested in that.
I get acne sometimes, you know. Usually it's just a little like, meh, you
Yeah.
know, little guy. But occasionally, if I have too much chocolate or something, you get that one big one
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's on your face, sometimes it's on your ass,
Yeah.
and you. It's getting gross. You pop it, and it has that really satisfying snap to it,
Yeah.
and you're like,
That I'd be interested in doing that. I probably have some overdue like earwax that needs to be extracted.
Yeah.
Nowadays, the technology, have you seen it? It's it pairs with your phone.
I've seen it. There's a camera
The
on
camera
it, and
that
you
you
can
go
go
in
and
and
you can
scoop.
see what all bullshit you got in your ear.
I don't know if I just get it out. I don't know if I need to like
I don't.
see.
I don't want to see the inside of my body.
I would be turned inside out.
Yeah, in my mind, it's all like cream filling. I don't want to know like some people are like, yeah, I went and got a colonoscopy and I got to watch. I'm like, turn that angle the screen away from me, doc.
No,
You do the work.
maybe we should do that on the show. The
Colonoscopy. What?
No, okay. I was still thinking about the earwax candle.
clean. Okay, I got you. It's like, I mean, content is content.
Do that
right?
on the show.
Yeah.
One doctor at the same time.
Yeah. If you like this video, like it, subscribe.
I think that's it.
That's probably it. It's gonna get gross. Hey, thanks for tuning in again. We just want to give all the best wishes to the guys from Left to Suffer. Hope you guys get
Yeah.
back on the road, back on the stage.
And thank you for you were gonna let us in the show.
Yeah, man,
that's much appreciated.
yeah,
It wasn't lost how cool that was gonna be. So
To Peter from Left to Suffer, man, we were eager to have you. Absolutely, when you're in the area again, we'll get you out here, man. It's not a missed opportunity. We're just postponing.
yeah. And if you haven't heard of them, go check them out. Left
Yeah.
to Suffer. They're
Left to
awesome.
Suffer rips, man. Absolutely.
Oh,
Are we there? I wish everyone many Baja blessings.
Baja. Oh, DK Metcalf. It's 14.
Oh, snap. Man, we forgot all of our... I feel like we're more on it on our virtual ones now.
I think so. DK Metcalf.
There you go.
14.
Number 14, baby. In our hearts forever. Thanks, you guys, for tuning in. See you on the flip.
See ya.
See ya.